Hello. Nice to meet you.
And she's a very sociable person.
Good.
That's a strong one.
I knew she passed the test.
Okay, so 2 years and 6 months?
We had a couple of sick babies in the nursery. The car was being packed, and she said, wait a minute. She had to run back to the hospital to see that kid.
So we talk about the motor, which is the walking, the grasping, the eating. He's the normal weight and a normal height. Other than the not talking, his exam is normal.
You know, he sees you in one setting at home and as you grow up, but I always get a little worried that it's a clinical setting, what's he going to be like then? And I'm always excited by it. It works out better than I think. I think we have a nice flow together, and it's really great to learn from him. You're seeing a lot of patients, the volume is huge, but I think coming and getting to work with my dad and getting to work in a low resource setting is good for future opportunities of learning.
It's really wonderful. It's a wonderful thing to know that Claire, when she was 2 years old, was running around in Papua New Guinea with all of the local children.
And I'd really enjoyed it. I'd seen my parents do things in the hospitals before in Cameroon and in Papua New Guinea.
And so she saw us live that life and was able to perceive and understand its beauty, its strength, its depth. And so she grabbed it.
I wish everybody could have a dad as cool as he is.
She does.
I think there's a lot of somewhat newer, more sort of innovative things that I can bring as a younger resident.
She goes, no, this is the way we do it. Oh, okay.
Together we work well and it helps keep things moving.
When I'm in my field of vision, I'm looking to the right.
So field is moving this way.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like 3 tiny ones together.
Let me see. Can I see?
It's beautiful. Opens you up. You get to know that your life is not just your life, that you're connected to the next generation. Things that go through us go to the next person.
I feel very lucky to be in the medical field and be taught in life and then also in medicine by him. And it's wonderful to have a role model like him.
It's a very raw world here. You're just confronted with humanity and everyday life, and you don't have the luxury of buffering it with a lot of extra resources.
Twins, oh my gosh.
The reality is you're faced sometime with a decision, and we did 3 days ago. Which baby are we going to put on the oxygen? And you sort of pick which is the most likely to survive and which isn't.
We talked about, you know, the 3 or 4 babies that were there and needed oxygen and made the decision together.
But if a child can breathe, they have a chance.
Wednesday was a really long day, probably the worst of the days that we've been here. Sick kids who just kept coming in, and you sort of keep reminding yourself that these kids are here and if we don't help them, they're going to die.
And you're just there until you do everything you can.
There's only enough outlets in the room for so many oxygen concentrators. We do have one CPAP machine that we can use if the power's working or the generator's on.
What keeps you up at night sometimes, or for me, is we will have tried very hard to help somebody and they end up dying. And you sort of wake up with visions of them having died, or having to tell the mother this person died, or what did I do, or what could I have done.
So you really feel the pressure, and it's a privilege to feel the pressure to keep doing the right thing.
There's needs everywhere. This is where you can really see it and sort through that. So if you're ready to accept some of the pain and suffering combined with some of the happiness, the joy, the sharing, then jump in. We need to be able to give.
To make those connections with people you know who probably wouldn't have had a physician if we weren't here.
The experience gives you humility, and the more you live it, the more you know everything you have is a gift.
Here or in other places, you might be the only physician they see who could help change their life.
We each have our own gifts, and what we bring to the world, if we want to give it, are these gifts that we didn't deserve or work for. You may have developed them, and how you give it or share it with the world is up to you. You can hoard it, or you can let it go and become part of the great gift of God.